that you aren't a prisoner? Do you feel like you're done? All the dreams you had are hard to remember. Well, you're not the only one. Well, it's over, it's over, it's over. I won't be pushed around. Move over, move over, move over. Get back or just get out. Set this pain up in flames. It's over, it's over, it's over. It's time to burn it down. This one goes to the castaways who break their backs, saving every day. All these things I can do without. Gonna burn it down, burn it down. 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 Do you ever feel your colors are fading? Like your world might combust? Do the voices in your head make you crazy when they're the only ones you trust? Well, it's over, it's over, it's over. I won't be pushed around. Move over, move over, move over. Get back or just get out. Set this pain up in flames. It's over, it's over, it's over. It's time to burn it down. This one goes to the castaways who break their backs, saving every day. All these things I can do without. Gonna burn it down, burn it down. Burn it down, burn it down. Burn it down, burn it down. It's over, it's over, it's over. Move over, move over, move over. It's over, it's over, it's over. I won't be pushed around. Move over, move over, move over. Burn it down, burn it down. This one goes to the castaways who break their backs, saving every day. All these things I can do without. Gonna burn it down, burn it down. 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 Burn it down, burn it down.
Hey everyone, I hope you guys are here. I don't see many concurrent viewers just yet. Alright, I see 2 people. Press 1 in the chat. Hey there. If anybody else is here, please press 1 in the chat so that I know that you're here. And you'll be able to see me in a second. Oh, hey. So today is like the last day that we are gonna be listening to me teach stuff. So this is like the last teaching class of devsForFun. And after this, the next session is going to be about your challenge announcements, like the projects that you'll be building all on your own. That's the kind of stuff we're going to talk about, which is like day after tomorrow. That's all about day 15. And yeah, today is going to be one hell of a roller coaster ride. It's going to be a lot of things that we're going to learn. So brace yourselves. And that's why if you listen to the song, it's actually heavy metal. I thought we could use that level of motivation today. So, okay, a quick rating of the song out of 1 to 10. How did you feel about the song if you listen to it out of 1 to 10 or 0 to 10? How did you feel about the song? Or you could give me any number that you feel like. Okay, I see some hundreds in the reaction and 7 in the chat. 10. What? You a heavy metal fan? All right, cool, cool. We're the same same team now. Okay, it's 8. Usually I wait until we get 10 people into the stream, or at least until 8:05 or 8:07. But today, since I said we're going to be speeding things up because there's a lot to cover, we're going to be starting by 8:05, and it doesn't matter if 10 people show up by then or not. If you were in the last stream, I promised that, if we get 30 people in stream, I mean, I'm not asking you to bring in people. Don't bring them in. It's totally fine. It's totally up to their interest. But if they do show up, like 30 people show up in the stream, I would play, I mean, you'd see me performing with a special performance just for you people with my guitar. I'll show you my guitar at the end of the video or end of the stream. So like, how's it been? Like, so far you came a long way. It's like more than 13 days. Although we're calling it day 13, it's still like more than 13 days. It's like 15 days, right? 2 days we had to postpone due to unexpected reasons and everything. So like, how are you feeling about the program? Like, do you feel like you're learning a lot or learning something at least? Give me some number between 0 to 100. Like, how are you feeling? Let me see what comes up. And yeah, Nagaraj, thank you so much for asking. A lot better now since yesterday. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling a lot better. Thank you, Nicholas. 100. I see a lot of hundreds being pressed in the reactions. Sweet. Whoa, what is that? 100,000. All right, cool. Like, if you remember, we had like 367 people that signed up for this program, which is crazy. It's like, I can count you people. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, what, 6? And maybe we have extra people responding sometimes in the chat. People like Hawk and Najla, all those people. You're like barely 10 people that actually made it this far. So congratulations to that. Nobody really, everybody congrats you on taking the first step. But then again, taking the first step is not all the work, okay? Like, you need to keep taking more steps. Otherwise, you'll never move forward in future. And you guys just did that. You guys achieved the next steps. And actually, congratulations to you for that. That's amazing. Okay, as promised, it's past 8:05, and for some reason we don't have 10 people. That's totally fine. We'll get into the topic whatsoever. Let me show you myself. Can you see me? I'm wearing a t-shirt because I'm sick. but I'm feeling a lot better now. If you can see me, press 1 in the chat. Although it's not important, just let me know. All right, cool. Sweet, and welcome to day 13. Although it's like the 15th day, I still want to call it day 13 because teaching, so yeah. So yeah, day 13, this is going to be like one really crazy adventure today. We're going to be covering all kinds of crazy topics. I have them listed right here in my notebook. We're going to be covering arrays, all kinds of alien stuff. 2D arrays, don't worry if you don't know what that is, I'm going to teach you. And we're going to play with images, and I'm going to give you like a really fun challenge, which is like, it's really simple, but then again, the significance it holds in various applications and technology is pretty crazy. So yeah, that's what we're going to end with, the challenge. Of course, I'm not going to give you like the answer to the challenge. You're going to do it yourself. So let's get started. The first topic, which is arrays. So arrays, also, I do not have many illustrations even today, but I tried to come up with a few. I'll show you in a bit. So let me start with the definition of arrays, okay? So arrays are basically, the word array literally translates into arranging things in a particular way. So that's what it literally translates into. And in programming, it is arranging things in a linear fashion. Like, let me show you. Like right here, I have 5 color boxes, if you can see. So it's like, that's an array. It's a bunch of things arranged in a linear fashion. It's like in a line. So that's what's called an array. And now let's talk about how do you actually write an array. Okay? So this is how you write an array. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you're trying to store, if you're storing something, you gotta create a variable. So that's why we used the var keyword, just like that. And the name of the array, because we need to refer to it in future, right? Otherwise it would be rendered useless. So that's why we have the name, and I'm going to call it my array. Excuse me. And it holds a bunch of color boxes. Okay, that's what array is. And let's actually wait a second. Let me bring up an IDE or code editor, so that I can show you how we can do simple things with arrays. JDoodle. You can, like, if you remember how to set up things, we've previously discussed about it. You can set the live stream on one half of the screen and open JDoodle on the other half, but I don't think it's really important right now, because there's nothing much to learn in arrays. It's just you look at the syntax, you get it. Or if you want to do it, if you want to code along, you're welcome. You can totally do it. Set yourself up. In the meantime, I'll just type in some code. And one more thing. Like, JavaScript doesn't really allow me to use color boxes and play with them. So I had to switch to numbers, okay? So instead of color boxes, for the example, I'm going to use numbers. So if you were wondering why I didn't use color boxes in the example, that's why. All right, here's the var keyword, like I said. And the name of the array, I could call it my array. You could call it literally anything. It's not like you need to have the word array in the name or anything. You don't have to have it. It's just, I'm going to call it that way. That's it. And my array holds like 5 numbers. Okay, so it's pretty cool. It's an array. It holds 5 numbers. I arranged them in a linear fashion. That's what the definition of array stands for. Okay. And yeah, we can do a bunch of things with arrays. Like, we can pick one array, one of these elements or all of them at the same time. We could do a lot of things with arrays. So for the first thing, let's try to access the number 3. Okay, let's try to access, like, how do you pick number 3? How do you know that you're picking the number 3 in this my array, in this box called my array? How would you know that? It's pretty simple. You just write the array's name, and then you put exactly like these. You see these, the square brackets. You open and close the square brackets, and right there in the middle you write the number 2. Okay, and that gives you the number 3. So any guesses? Like this is something we discussed in, like, I don't know, maybe a day 5 or so. So does anybody remember why I wrote 2? Because, like, if you were guessing this is the first number, this is the second number, and this is the third number, in that case 3 needs to be 3, right? But I wrote 2. Keep guessing why I did that. Give me something in the chat. In the meantime, I'll just write something here. Does anybody remember why I did that? That's the index number of 3. Index starts from 0 to n-1. Index starts with 0. Okay, that's a lot of programming terminology. Index number, index starts, and all that. Yeah, basically, here's something in fun terms. Like, a JavaScript starts counting from 0, okay? So the first number would be 0, second number would be 1, third number would be 2, and so on and so forth. So let's actually try to write it here so that you know. So this is the number for each of the positions, just to be sure. I'm just trying to revise things here. So those are the position numbers. So since I said I wanted to access 3, so I gotta give it the 2. So please remember this syntax, people. This is, like, really important if you're working with arrays. And arrays, like, it's one of the most important data structures. And if you were wondering what data structures are, they're, like, pretty important, especially in coding interviews and working on, like, really complex code. And if you want to, like, go for competitive programming, all that stuff. If you want to know what that is, Google it or ask Bard. Okay, Bard is the best AI that can answer your questions. Okay, so yeah, do that. Data structures is the term. Do some Googling if you will later, not now. Okay, that's how you access specific values in an array. Okay, so that's one thing. That's one thing we can do with arrays. Oh, let me execute that and see if it actually works. Because, you know, just to be sure that I'm not lying. See, it gives 3. I gave it 2, but it gives 3. It's because the position number is this one. JavaScript starts counting from 0. So that's how things are. All right, so far so good. If yes, press 1 in the chat so that I know that I'm not moving too fast. Am I moving too fast? Am I speaking too fast? Is it okay? Is the pace good? Or you want me to slow down a little bit? Press 1 if it's all good. Press 2 if you want me to slow down a little bit. Okay, no twos. No twos, I guess. Fine. Alright, that's awesome then. We can go ahead with the same pace. Sweet. And you know, what's cool about arrays, you know, arrays, because array, it's got a special name, I mean, an entirely new name for it all by itself. So like, there's got to be something special about these things, right? So what's cool about arrays is like, you know, unlike variables, which can only like store one value at a time, arrays can store like any number of values. I mean, this not necessarily be true in every programming language, but in JavaScript, arrays can store like any number of elements that or things that you can put into it. Okay, so that's one cool thing about arrays. And if you remember objects from our previous class, even array is an object. Like I told you, right? Everything is an object, everything is a number. So we'll get to the number part later. But for now, array is also an object, just like everything in programming is. Okay? So if you think about it, objects have 2 things to them. Okay? 2 things. They have 2 things. What are those? Let me see some answers. What do objects possess? What do objects have inside of them? Give me something in the chat, people. Because, you know, let's not keep it like boring just because I said let's go fast. Let's keep it engaging. Variables and functions. Close, very close, Rohan. Properties and values. You got 50% of it right. 50%. How got a 50%? Anybody else? I know I'm not been sending notes because you know, it's taking a really long time for me to write notes, and I'm occupied in a lot of other things, so I'm really sorry I'm not able to send notes, but I hope you're taking notes. Fields and methods. Oh yes, she got it right, but I didn't use the term field. Field is basically, if you remember, I mean, this might ring some bells, people. So, you know, objects have properties and methods. That's basically like, you know, attributes and behavior. Thank you, Rohan. So yeah, objects have properties and methods. Like, you know, it has some things that it owns and some things that describes the behavior. So just like any other object, even arrays have a lot of properties and methods, or like Esther said, fields and methods. And there's one important, really important and most commonly used property that I like to tell you people about, which is, I'm going to write it down and I'll show you. Oh, and by the way, if you want to access like the properties or the methods of objects, you have to like use the dot right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Right here after the name, right after the name, no spaces. You write a dot. Oops. No, it's going down. Let me zoom out. Okay, dot, and then you write whatever the property or the method that you want to access. Okay. All right. Let me take this one out. And okay, this might be suggesting something like, yeah, maybe I'm gonna find out the length of it, right? So it has 5 digits. It has 5 numbers inside of it. So obviously, if you expect it, that's like, it's gonna print out 5. And yes, it did. So this is like really important. You'll see why I've been referring to this one as like really important. or maybe not. But this is important, people. Just remember this one, okay? Take notes if you go. And that's one more thing that I want to discuss in arrays. And what else? Let me check my notes. Because, you know, I just don't want to forget stuff and move like I know everything. Because in programming, you never know everything. In fact, you won't be able to remember like at least 80% of the stuff. So it's totally common. Okay. All right. Actually, let's skip to the slides and see what we got next. Oh, where's the slide? Got it. Oh, my bad. That's a surprise I was trying to say for you people. Fine. And yes, like I forgot something. Like, what if you wanted to like access the whole like because you know there's a repetition here. If you wanted to access all 5 of them, you might have to go through something like calling each one of them, like this one, and then you go like this one, and so on and so forth. You keep writing it multiple times if you have to, right? So we see that there's a repetition here, and a repetition that can be, you know, that can be programmed. So what can we use for repetition, people? Like instead of writing things multiple times, what is it in JavaScript that we can use to make iteration happen automatically? Any answers? Okay, I'll just pretend that. Oh, okay, a lot of people knows it. Okay, any guesses on what loop that we're going to use right now? Since you said loops. For loop, yep, that's what we're going to use. So if you remember, the for loop has like 3 parts to it: the starting point, or initialization in fancy terms, and the condition, and then the change or increment or decrement, whatever you want to be doing over there. So for my starting point, I'm going to take a placeholder variable I, and the starting point would be 0 because my array always, because JavaScript start counting from 0 and the first position is referred to as 0, my starting point is going to be 0. Okay, you could always do like 1 and do something with it, but I don't really recommend doing that because to avoid any confusion. And for each, okay, that's a great guess, but I'm not going to teach you people for each. I have something else planned. Okay, I'm not going to teach you for each. And here's another challenge, people, like right away. Not now, but later when we're done with the stream. I want you to Google for each loop in JavaScript, okay? In fact, we have like the standard for loop, that's the one I'm about to write. We have the for each loop, we have the for off loop, and I'm not sure if we have for in loop in JavaScript. That's something else we have in Python. I'm pretty sure we have something like that in JavaScript as well. It's like we have 3 or 4 for loops in JavaScript, which is crazy. And I'm going to leave it to your self-exploration. We don't got time for that. And the condition, like if we leave the loop as is, like giving some random condition, it doesn't work that way because it might end up running forever, and we don't want that to happen. So what might be the best condition? Since I said I wanted to go through each and every one of them, so the best condition would be stopping at the end, right? Stopping at the end. So if I was using this placeholder to refer to the position of my position of the thing or element in the array, it's better that it stops when it reaches this position. And how do we get this position? Here's a crazy trick. I calculate the length, and the length is like 5, we just saw it, and the condition says while I is less than 5, I is less than the length means I is less than 5. Okay, that means the loop will stop after it reaches this element, which is okay, let me write the positions again just to be clear. 0, 4. Okay, so like I is going to turn 4 and it's going to run, and once it turns 5, that's when it will stop. That's what I mean by this condition. Any confusion in the condition, people, because this is really important. I want you people to be confused about. No, if no confusion, press 1 in the chat. If you're confused, press 2 in the chat. Because, you know, things can get clumsy sometimes. So. Okay. All right. I only see a very few ones in the chat. You can press 2 if you're confused, if you're not sure about this part of the program. All right. Okay. I guess everybody's good with it because you're not responding. I'm going to assume that. All right. Sweet. Where are we? Oh yeah. So like I wanted to go through, right? So what I'm going to do is like maybe see what's going on. Like what are the elements I have? I'm just going to pretend that I'm not able to see any of this. And I'm going to go look inside what's in it. And I'm going to, what this line essentially does is it prints or it displays these numbers on a new line every time it goes through. Let me show you what I mean. See, yeah, okay, now I know that, okay, I have these numbers arranged in this way inside my array. So that's how we go through, what do you say, arrays. And here's another example. What if I wanted to like get the sum of all these numbers? Like what is the, when you add up all these numbers, what do I get? I don't know. I'm pretty bad at maths, so I'm gonna ask JavaScript to do it for me. And also people, note that I just wrote the sum. This is going to store the total value of all these numbers inside the array. And the starting point is 0. Because if you don't initialize it, you might run into troubles. So, because you know JavaScript wouldn't know that sum was supposed to be number. It wouldn't know. So if you initialize it or give an initial value of 0, that would know a number. And since 0 is 0, it wouldn't affect our final result in any way. So it's pretty cool. So be sure to initialize values whenever you declare variables. Okay? And yeah, instead of this, I want to add the number every time. What I'm going to do is to the sum, to the present sum, I'm going to add the current element, which is ith element. We could say that. I'm not sure if it's like right in English, but yeah, that's something you could say. And I'm going to print it to the console or the screen and see if I get the right answer. And just to be sure, I'm not really that bad at math, okay? So I can add these up by hand. And let me see, it's like 9, 12, 14, and 15, right? It totally sums up to be 15. Let's see if it's the right answer. Yeah, 15 it is. Pretty cool, right? So you can like automate tasks like that. You don't have to like, write sum is equal to my array of 0 plus my array. You could totally do copy paste, but then again it's still hectic. Why do you have to do all that crazy stuff? Let the computer do the job for you, right? So that's how you use oops, Tekken. So that's how you use the for loop with an array. So far so good. If yes, press 1 in the chat. Or if you want, you can take a screenshot of this because this is really simple. I might not share it with you people later. So. Okay. All right. Sweet. Wow. That moved faster than I thought. Cool. What else do I have on the list? Did I forget anything? And we are done. Yes, great. And now, let's talk about the thing called 2D array. I just checked my slides and I don't know why I don't have my heading slide for 2D arrays, but that's fine. Now you know the topic. Or maybe, give me a second. Oops. "2D arrays." Yes, this will be my slide. This is my what do you call? Oops. my heading slide now. Cool. All right, now let's discuss about 2D arrays. Any guesses, anyone, like what this might be? Real quick, give me something in the chat, like what this might be. The best description you have in your head. Or if you don't, that's fine. Let's see. I mean, I'm pretty sure that some of you actually know something about this. Anime? Okay, anime is like, I'm not sure. I don't understand why I feel this, but I feel it like it's relevant. Anime is definitely relevant. In fact, let's use an anime picture for my play with images example. Because it's 2D. Yeah, that's why I felt it. You're right. Okay, like Matrix. Matrix, you mean Keanu Reeves or the mathematical Matrix? And arrays and arrays. Yep, that's pretty close. That's what I was about to say anyways. 2D, two-dimensional, and representing rows and columns. Whoa, that's a lot of explanation. Thank you so much for that. Yes, people, that's right. What Bharat said was accurate, and you might want to take notes on that. I'm not kidding, definitely not kidding this time. He's right, and let me show you what he actually has said. So 2D arrays are basically arrays that contain arrays. Okay, so it's basically like it. You see, same syntax. I have the var keyword. I have the name, my arrays this time S, because I have multiple arrays inside one single array. Okay, so if you look at it, I open this square bracket, and then I open another square bracket and started writing an array as if like nothing happened. Okay, and I put a comma, and then I came to the next line. You don't have to go to the next line, but I just did just to make it look more clear. And then you have this another array, comma, down here you have another array, and then I closed it. Okay, it's like I have 3 arrays inside an array. Now if you're looking at it, it might look like a table, right? It's like here's one row, we have 3 rows and 5 columns. Does it look like a table? Does it? And yeah, once again, thank you, Bharat, for bringing that explanation up. That's exactly what I was about to say. 2 dimensions, people. It's like, you know, if you watched Interstellar, you would know the word dimension. At least that's where I learned it from. Okay, so yeah, it's like horizontally and vertically. You can move inside this array in 2 different directions. Is why it's called a 2-dimensional array. That's why it's called that way. Okay, quick question. How many of you watched Interstellar? Press 1 if you watched Interstellar so that I know that you did. Totally cool if you didn't. And press 2 if you didn't watch Interstellar. It's a great movie. No, a lot of people did. Nagaraj, you didn't. That's cool though. You should definitely check it out. I mean, I wouldn't recommend killing your study time for that, but if you're watching it, watching TV with your family sometime, do watch it. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of crazy stuff. If you're into space like me, you would definitely love it. And yeah, why I brought this up? Because I learned the word dimension over there. So yeah. Okay, let me bring up the ID so that I can show you what we can do with these 2D arrays. Alright, so let's actually create one 2D array, and just like before, we will try to run some operations. My arrays equals. This is the preferred way, this is my preferred way of writing stuff. You could totally write all of it on a single line like this. Like, you know, you could create an array and then you can write another array. And you could totally do this. But I don't really recommend that. That really doesn't look like a table. And since we're humans, we keep it in a structure that we can understand so that it's easier to deal with stuff. So that's why I keep it on different lines, each array on a different line. So let's say this array has these numbers and one more. Wait a second. What comes after 6? Alright, that's my array. And note that at the end I didn't put a comma, just to be sure. I mean, you can totally do that. Let's run it. Let's see if it gives any errors. Like if you noticed, I forgot what would happen if I have a comma and I don't have an array afterwards. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to log it and test it, see if it works. This will give you, I mean, this won't give you any output. It would give you some crazy, what it might give you something like saying object array. Oh, it actually gave the output. See, I didn't know, I forgot. It's like really basic stuff, so I don't remember. But yeah, it worked. So yes, you can totally use a comma. It makes it more readable. But you can have it or you cannot. It's totally up to you. I'm just going to leave it here because it does no harm. And that's one way of printing those. Okay. And we could do it like this. Oh, before that, now accessing numbers. Let's actually talk about accessing numbers. Let's try to access 6. Let's try to print the number 6 or maybe 5. 5 looks interesting. Let's pick the number 5, okay? So how would we do it? So I want you to picture like this. Look at this like a table, okay? Just like a table. And in this table, you start with a row and you go through all of the row, and then you go to the next row and look through all of it, and then you go to the next row. That's how usually array, two-dimensional arrays are searched through. Okay, that's exactly what we're going to do. So to find 5, what we have to do is like we have to get inside the array and look through on the first array, okay, the first row. And unfortunately we didn't find 5, so we're going to move to the next array, and then we are going to search through, and yes, I found 5 here. And this is where we're going to stop. Okay, and how do you directly access that? Here's the syntax. I'm going to show you. In my arrays, we just came through rows, right? And again, everything's going to be counted starting from 0. So this is like the 0 row, this is like the first row, and this is like the second row now. Okay, so we need to get through the rows. I see that 5 is in the second row, which means the number is going to be 1. If you know, you know. And that's not it. If I give only this, it would only like give me, what do you say? It would only give me, it would give me the entire second array. I don't want that. I only want 5. So now that this refers to the second array, we're going to repeat the square brackets and get inside and look for 5. The 5 has the second position, which means it's 1. Okay? So this is how you like refer in a two-dimensional array. Let's actually test it and then confirm if you understood what I just said. Okay, execute. And yes, I found 5. And it worked. So far, did you understand like what just happened? How to write 2D arrays? I strongly suggest that you take a screenshot of this and make notes of it wherever you want. Notebook is the preferred place. So if you understood, if you're good with this, press 1. If you're like a little skeptical of what's going on here, press 2 so that I know. Okay, all right, lots of ones. Amazing so far. Okay, and here's another tricky part. Fine, now I went through and I found I could directly access elements now. What if I wanted to access all of these elements at the same time? Would the for loop work? Not exactly. Let me show you what I mean. So starting point, and I and my arrays dot length I++. Okay, and here's where it gets funny. I started with 0, cool, and I said less than this right here is going to get tricky. My arrays dot length. What do you think is going to be the answer to that particular thing? My arrays dot length. If I were to run it, what would I get? What is the length of that array? Give me something in the chat, people. And yes, you got it right. It's 3. But I have 9 numbers over here. Isn't that crazy? Right? So, how do you find another, how do you go through, okay, this outer loop, this loop goes through each row, but doesn't go inside of it. In order to repeat our steps inside of this row, we need to write another loop inside this loop, and this is called nesting. You can it's basically like writing things inside things. So we're writing a for loop inside a for loop is why we call this nesting. And now this time I'm going to use the letter J, and J is less than, okay, my arrays, not exactly, because I could write my arrays.length, it would work this time. Let me change that. I have a question for you. 1 second. Okay, this right here gives 3 again, right? These two are the same. But what if my first row had something like this? What happens right here is, since this says 3, so it's going to go like 0, 1, 2, which is like a third element, and boom, it misses 5 and goes to the next row. We don't want that to happen, right? So every time we go through each of these, because most of the, at least some of the time, it would be like they won't be of the same length, so we cannot really use the same length like this one over here. We need to get the explicit length of this particular row every time. How would we do that? Any guesses, people? Give me some guesses in like how would you find the exact length each time for this loop? How would you do that? Give me something in the chat. Let me see. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Give me some answers. Oh, you're definitely getting the hang of it. And Febin, I see you just wrote empty parentheses after length. That's actually from Java, okay? That's actually from Java. You shouldn't be writing parentheses at the end for the length property in JavaScript. What you wrote for Java, don't use it, okay? Don't be confused. Length is a property, it's not a method, unlike Java. Okay, yeah, you got it right. We just put in the I, and now it actually works for every different length of these rows. But in this case, it's totally fine, but just to be sure, right? Because we want our code to work every single time we run it under any circumstance. And now we went through this, right? So I want to calculate the sum of everything. That's what I said. So let's create a sum variable. Let's initialize it to 0, just so that JavaScript knows that it's a number and it's ready to take in numbers. And I'm going to write sum is equal to sum plus, every time to the current sum, I'm going to add this value, whatever that I'm currently at. So for the row's position, I is going to act like the row's position, and oops, and J is going to act like the column's position. So that's how it's going to pick each and every element. And once we have the sum, it's just a matter of printing it. Let me there we have it. Let me run that real quick. And it's 45. I guess that's the right answer. I guess. Is it? Can somebody check? I'm not sure. No, I'm pretty sure it's 45. Yeah. So that's how you access all the elements in 2D arrays. If you see a 2D array and you come across a problem that says like you need to, that requires you to access each and every element of it, you go with the nesting. You write 2 loops, one inside of the other. The outer loop, which is this one, takes care of going through, going through each row, and this inner loop takes care of going inside each of the rows and looking through all of the values. Okay, so I hope you understood 2D arrays. If you want to take a screenshot, please do. And yes, press 1 in the chat if you understood everything about this, because I've been observing those of you that have been attending the classes. So like, you people already know a lot of stuff, so I just wanted to move fast, is why I'm actually running this fast and not really go into like too much detail. All right, sweet. A lot, all of you, looks like all of you understood. Amazing. My voice is still bad. Just give me a second. Oh, it's like a lot of time. Should we take a break? 5 minutes break, everyone? What do you say? Press 5 in the chat if like, let's take a break and come back, because what's coming after this, just like day 11, we're gonna build projects. This time they're like tricky ones. They're weird looking, but then fine. Yes, let's take a break, people. Let's take a break. I can totally, yeah, and break, drink some water, stretch yourselves out, get out of that chair, couch, or bed, whatever it is, and yeah, please stretch yourself out. I hope you people are doing it. Okay, 5 minutes break, everyone. All right, all right. Press 1 in the chat if you're back. I'm back. Is everybody back? If not, I hope you have your speakers turned on. So yeah, please come back. Let's dive into the topic. Okay, 2 people. Let's wait 1 more minute for others to be back and see. Okay, okay. Press 1 in the chat if you're back. If you didn't hear, I'm just saying it again. Okay, all right. Sweet. Let's get started again. Okay, so yeah, 2D arrays. Cool, fine. It's like arrays inside arrays. But why learn these? What's so special about them? Why should we even know why they exist? Like, they're so complex, they're so hard. Why do we even need these, right? That's something that might be going around in your head. So I'm going to answer that for you. So if you look closely, it's like a rectangle, right? It's like a rectangle. And to your surprise, images are rectangles, 2-dimensional images. They're basically pictures, photographs. Everything is 2-dimensional, and they're also rectangles, right? Rectangles might be made of arrays. And let me explain what I'm saying, okay? So essentially, what I mean to say is, I'm saying that images are basically arrays. Like image is like one huge array that contains a bunch of arrays, equal length arrays. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me explain what I mean. Like, for example, here's a not very cool diagram of a red square with white color filled inside. Now if you look at this, like 1 square, 2, 3, 4, you see a bunch of squares, right? Now if you look closely, here's my division of it into an array. So the red square image is now an array of red dots or red squares and white squares. This is what I mean. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Like, are you able to picture that every image is like a 2-dimensional array? Are you able to get the idea? If yes, press 5 in the chat if you're able to get the idea. Because, you know, it's really important that you picture images as 2-dimensional arrays. Although you don't have to like split each and every box of color and then see it. It's totally fine. Okay, so yeah, that's what I mean. So images are basically 2-dimensional arrays. Like, you know, it's like that. And in image processing, like, okay, that's a fancy term of basically editing or analyzing images. Okay, image processing is the fancy term to like either edit or go through or analyze images. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that you people are definitely used to social media, right? You see a lot of people using filters, all that stuff. Every filter program basically goes through each and every pixel, which is like these squares right here. 1 pixel is equal to 1 square. Okay, it contains 1 color. Okay, so that's what images are made of. So image is like a huge array that holds a bunch of other arrays, each array containing a bunch of pixels. Pixels are basically color squares or color dots, if you will. Okay, so that's how it is. Every program, even Instagram, Snapchat, whatever you see, they basically use 2-dimensional arrays to edit images. It's as simple as that. Now, how mind-blowing is that to you? Give me something. Is it like really crazy? Like, is it something that you never expected? Or did you already know? Let me know something in the chat. You're not surprised? You people don't seem surprised. Because, you know, I cannot see your faces. Give me something in the chat. Are you shocked? Or are you like, man, I already knew that? Or what's so cool about it? What do you think? What do you think of this idea? And I'm not bluffing. I'm not bluffing. It's true. Nothing in the chat? You're kind of new to the idea, but yeah, that's how things work. Basically, two-dimensional arrays. Images are all 2D arrays. That's how you build image filters. And yes, the challenge today is actually to create a filter, a gray filter for your images. That's the challenge. So yeah, you're gonna be building your own image filter app kind of thing on the web using JavaScript, HTML, CSS, which is pretty cool if you ask me. At least I was like super excited when I first made it. It was a really, really long time ago. But then yeah, I still remember how excited I was. So yeah, this is an image and I split it into squares that make part of it. That's how it looks like. And let's come back to this concept in programming where I said everything in programming is a number. Not in programming, everything is a number inside a computer. How many of you remember this idea? Do you remember when I said everything is a number? And also, are you able to make sense of colors being numbers? Are you able to make sense of this? Like each color is a number? Okay, once. Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Even colors are numbers. Not just characters, numbers, not just those, but even colors. Even colors are numbers. And don't try this code. Don't try this code. Okay, it won't work. JavaScript doesn't allow emojis just yet. You could try with, I don't know, maybe Python. Python allows that, and Swift allows emojis in code. But as far as I've seen, JavaScript doesn't really understand emojis just yet. Don't try this. Okay, I just have it here to make sure that you understand how it may look like. It's not exactly how it looks like. And yeah, every pixel is a number. Like each of these squares are pixels. That's the term for it, pixel. And every pixel contains a color, and every color is a number. Implies every pixel is a number. But there's a catch. It's a weird kind of number called hexadecimal. It's not the usual numbers. It's not the decimal or usual kind of numbers that we usually are used to using. Okay, so I know, okay, hexadecimal now, I need to learn a new number system. Fear not, you don't have to. In order to combat with this, we came up with we split this single hexadecimal into like 3 different numbers to like understand it better. So like I said, 3 numbers, right? We split the hexadecimal into 3 numbers. Each number is associated with one color. First number is R, red, if you're guessing it. Second number is called G, green. Third number is called B, blue. Okay, and the value for each of these is between the range of 0 to 255. That's how it is. Okay, so the color white, the square white, inside this color, the amount of red is like maximum 255. Amount of green is maximum 255. Amount of blue is maximum 255. And coming to black, it's 0, 0, 0. All right? It's pretty cool, right? Are you able to make sense of this? Are you able to understand this RGB number system, splitting the hexadecimal into 3 different numbers and dealing with it? Are you able to get it, people? This is really important. Actually, a fun concept if you ask me. Man, I don't have to say press 1. You people are so used to it now. Amazing. Okay, one person is new here. They say yes. It's pretty cool. It's fine. It's totally fine. Okay, so yeah. Now that you understood it, remember the maximum value for any color in these 3 numbers would be 255, 255, 255, and the minimum value would be 0. When it's all 0, it's black. When it's all maximum or all 255, it's white. Here's a question for you. What might be the RGB values for the color red? Give me something in the chat. All 3 numbers. I want all 3 numbers in the chat. What might be the what might be the values for all 3 of these numbers for the color red? Give me an answer. Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? It's obvious, like 25500 because it's only red. You don't have any blue in it, or you don't have any red in it. Any green in it. And if you're wondering, like these 3 are like universally the basic colors that make up all other colors. So If you were to like write red and green and take out the blue, it would turn yellow, stuff like that. That's how computer makes up colors, okay? And yeah, so far we have 2D arrays, nested for loops, 3 values for a single color. It's a lot, too much to deal with, right? How many of you feel like it's really too much? If you feel like it's too much to deal with, what's all of this? How is it all related? Press like 10 in the chat if you're like really feeling, wow, this is like a lot of things that I just have in my head right now. Press 10 if you feel so, or press 0 if you don't feel like it. You feel like you're cool. Okay, I can deal with this. Okay. Jeffin says 5. You're like in the middle, you're not sure. A lot of you are actually cool with 2D arrays, nested for loops, 3 values for colors. It's not too much to deal with, okay? All right, let's see how long that confidence sticks in. All right, even though if you're not, since like, yeah, Jeffin said 5, and yeah, even if you ask me, that's a lot for me in like 1 hour. So yeah, abstraction to the rescue. Who remembers what abstraction is? Anyone? Okay, I'm not gonna ask you what abstraction is, but if you remember, stay true to yourself and press 1 in the chat if you remember what abstraction is. Oh yes, you do. Okay, sweet. So you people do remember what abstraction is. Well, abstraction is basically, okay, anybody care to explain? Give me an answer, like how do you explain abstraction? Okay, what else do we have next up? Whoa, that's a lot of tech terms. Hiding implementation details from the user. Displaying essential features while hiding background details. Yeah, it's basically like if you want to drive a car, you just need to know how to use the steering, how to use the pedals, and how to use the lights, maybe horn. That's it. That's all you need to know. You don't have to know like how the engine runs and stuff like that. You really don't have to know, right? And same case here. You really don't have to know like how do we plan, like how do we go through each of them, how do we like manipulate each pixel, what goes in, like how do we even take images. We have abstraction to help us with that. And for our abstraction, unfortunately JavaScript doesn't really come with something that would actually deal with images. And that's why we are going to use an external library to deal with the mess, all of this mess. I want to call it mess because that's what I felt like when I was taking up these problems. And you can find a lot of what do you say, image processing libraries online, but the one that we are going to go with is really made for beginners. It's from one of the paid courses on Coursera, Duke Learn to Program. If you know Duke University, it's one of the best universities out there. At least that's what I learned. I've never been there, so they have a really good curriculum and everything. In fact, a lot of this course is inspired from them. These 4 amazing people that taught me a lot of things, and this is where we're gonna get it from. Do not worry, I'm gonna share this link later. You just don't have to worry about this. So yeah, it's about time, people. Open your VS Code, put the stream on like half side of the screen, and open your VS Code on the other side. I hope you remember the setup. If you do not remember the setup, or if you don't know what the setup is, press, I don't know, press N in the chat, and I'll go through 1 second. Otherwise, I'll just start with this one. Okay, I'm gonna wait 1 minute for you people to set things up. Okay, open your VS Code, open everything. And if you don't know, press N in the chat, so that I'll know that you don't know how to set up things to follow through, and I'll help you with that. I'll just go through it real quick. I don't have my VS Code. Okay, press 1 if you are all ready with the setup. That's 1 minute. Oopsie. Alright, great. Okay, 3 people have it. I hope everybody else would have it by now. And yeah, by the way, this logo right here is called Duke's Blue Devil. I don't know, it's like a culture kind of thing that they have over there in Duke University, if you're wondering what that is. Okay, real quick, let's open up a new project before we start discussion. Whoa, I have a lot of projects. How many of you know that this is a part of Google Developers Student Clubs? How many of you know that all of this is a part of Google Developers Student Clubs? At least how many of you like recognize that bracket icon, like arrow bracket icon, and the devsForFun symbol? I just want to know. I'm just curious. Are you from a GDSC or are you not? If you're from a GDSC, press 5, or if you're not, press 10. Quick survey, that's it. Projects, yeah. Do I have something in here? I don't know. Playing. Okay. A lot of you are through a GDSC, came here through a GDSC, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that should do. Images, fine. I'm just gonna call it images, and that's my project. And if you remember the steps, yes, trust the author because you're the author. And create 3 basic files just like we usually do. Index.html. Oopsie. Second file, style.css. And the most fun part, or the best file, my favorite, JavaScript. Oops. Okay. Okay, do not worry if you don't see these errors popping up because they're not supposed to be there. I just messed up something at work and it's like that. That's fine. Okay, remember the shortcut, exclamation mark, and when this pops up, press enter. And you have everything right here. And I'm going to link the CSS tag. I'm going to use this shortcut right here, link : CSS. You press enter. And yes, if you named your style sheet your CSS file something else, you might want to change that. But mine right here is the same thing. So I guess that's totally fine. I don't have to change anything right now. Okay. And like always, at the end, we need the script with the source defined as our JavaScript file. I hope you remember all of this, people. If yes, press 1 so far if it's good. We're ready with the setup, and let's start understanding how we need to do things. No, okay, that's all I have. Okay, I see, again, 3 of you. You guys are ready? Fine. So this is where we are going to get the library from, okay? Wait a second, where's the library code? Like, you know, again, this is code somebody else wrote for us, and this is a table of all the details, okay? And I'm going to give you the link in the chat so that here, head over to that link, and so that you can browse the documentation yourself. I don't have to read it because I already have practiced it several times. And I'm just looking for the link where I can use to paste it. Or maybe not, I have it here. you saw it. You have the answer code in my code pen, but I strongly suggest you do not look at it. Please do not look at it. Okay, this should work. Anything is fine. Yes, this is the link I was talking about. Or maybe people just, I'm gonna share another script tag inside the chat. Like, copy it. What I want you to do is, just copy the text, copy that text, and let me also do it in the VS Code. Copy the text and paste it inside the head. What just happened? I just pasted one script tag over here below anything else in the body. Wait, below anything else in the body. That's my own script tag, the code that I'm gonna write. But I pasted this external libraries code over here in the head. It is because this file code is coming from the outside. It doesn't really have any dependencies whatsoever with any of the elements below in the body. And also, we want to be sure that it works. So this code should load before anything else loads on the page. Okay, just to be sure that things would be working just right. That's why I had to put this in the head. So if you're wondering, if you want things to load way before everything else loads, you put them here. Okay, I mean not visual elements, only things like script tags, link tags, stuff like that. And if you want it to run after all the elements load, you put it at the end of the body like this. Okay, so far so good. Is the setup ready? Press 1 in the chat if you're ready. Okay, so what just happened is we bought in the code of someone else wrote, which is the Duke University people in this case. And by the way, you cannot bring in just about any code. This code is actually open source. Anyone can use it, modify it. It's all licensed. Let me show you what I mean. It should have a license somewhere over here. Yes, you see this? Licensed under Creative Commons Attribution. Creative Commons. If you see this word, that means you can use it for free. It's totally free. You can totally use it. No permissions required. But when you actually, publish it as your own copy, you are supposed to refer to the author. That's one more thing. License stuff, it's pretty important. Okay, we don't need all of these. We're just interested in simple image. That's what we're interested in. Because yeah, what I mean to say is, even images are objects. Get the idea? Even images are objects. So that is why we have everything right here. Wait, let me set things up. Where's VS Code? Okay, let's actually start coding. We're going to play with images, right? If you want to play with images, this is something we need to do. Let me write down the steps. Step number 1, we need a place to put our image in. That's one thing we need. Step number 2, it's basically I'm writing an algorithm. Let me make it sound like create a place to put our image in, and take input for our image. For an image, yes, that's something we need to do. Once we take input, what we need to do it. Or let's use the painting analogy here. Okay, create a canvas. Let's say instead of a place, let's call it a canvas. I'll tell you why I call it a canvas. I hope you understand the term canvas in English, right? Canvas is basically where we paint things, right? Create a canvas to put our image in. So basically we're trying to paint the image on a canvas. That's the idea. And once we take the input, we need to put the image on, what do you say, on the canvas. Pretty cool. And then create a button Okay, maybe not. Let's not write that. So far this is what we need to do, right? And this is something we need to do in the HTML, because without HTML there's no layout. Okay, we need to create a canvas, and luckily enough we have a canvas in HTML. It's just that, the canvas tag, and give this canvas an ID of canvas1 so that we can refer to it. So this is where we're going to take input for an image and put it over there, and create another canvas. That's definitely not something I mentioned, but yeah, let's do it. Create another canvas and give this one a canvas ID of 2, because this is where we'll put the output image. Once we're done playing with the image, we need the output, right? This is where the output goes. Okay, canvas 1 is for the input, canvas 2 is for the output. That's where we save our image. And let's actually create a button that would say, I don't know, what should we do? Let's do a purple filter. Let's do a purple filter. Let's turn things purple and give it an ID, or maybe not. Let's just leave it like it for the time being, because we're not sure. Let's leave it like it. And we cannot see the canvases over here, right? So let's actually give some CSS to the canvas. I'm going to refer to the canvas tag, and I'm going to give them a border. Okay, at any point, if you feel like I'm really fast, please let me know. Okay, and also just to make sure that my canvas really doesn't overflow the screen, I am going to give it a width of, say, 400 pixels. That should work. Or maybe just to be able to see the button, I'll just go with 350. Alright, that works. And a BR tag to take it to the new line. Okay, so far so good. Are you able to see the setup? Are you able to set it up yourself? Yes? If yes, press 1 in the chat so that I know that you are able to do what I did so far. Let me just take it all out. But we forgot something. We need to give an input as image. Wait, I totally forgot how to give. Let me think. Yes, that's how you write it. Image is basically a file, so we're gonna give it file. And what type of file? Accept is another attribute. Okay, it's a lot of things that I'm doing that you might not know, but follow along, it's easy. Image, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be image. Okay, image and maybe a slash. That's the usual syntax. Do not worry if you don't understand. You really don't have to understand. And I don't want multiple images coming in, is why I'm going to use this attribute and make it false. Okay. Okay, so far so good. Is it confusing? Oh no, we're running out of time. Let's make it fast. Come on. Is it confusing, people, or is it good? Is it okay? If yes, press 10 so that I know it's okay. And we can move on to the JavaScript stuff now. Nothing? No tense? Are you not able to follow? 1? Okay, that's confusing now. Okay, this is not really important because we are only interested in JavaScript, right? So please take the code as is. If you want, I'll send it through a note sometime. But yeah, essentially this is the layout. We just wrote some HTML and made this right here looks pretty much somewhat like a real application. Okay, that's the whole point of having this right here. Okay, we just wrote the HTML and some CSS for that matter. And now it's time to write JavaScript. Since we already imported our library, it's called import because we are bringing it from the outside, just like how countries do stuff. Same thing in coding or programming. We just have the code right here. That means we can be sure that the code loaded, it's all here. Now we are to write the code to manipulate images, right? So this right here, right? Choose files. Let's choose the file. Let's pick some image. I don't know, maybe pick this. Okay, it's actually loaded, but you don't see it on the canvas just yet, right? It's crazy. We wanted to have it on the canvas. We uploaded it, but then again, we need it on the canvas, right? So for that, let's write something that happens on upload. Okay, let's write a function. Okay, before that, let's actually define our variables, image. Let's also take our canvas one. You could totally do this without giving initial values. Canvas 2. Let's keep them like that, variables, just so you know we can use it in our code. And let's write a function that takes place, something that happens upon upload. Okay, I'm not going to give it any parameters. I'm just going to call it upload, and let's come in. Let's write some code. What we want to happen is we want the image coming in here to go to here. Okay, that's what we want to happen. And I'm not going to waste more time. I already have the code ready. I'll just I wrote C1 and C to save some time. Okay, let's look at the code more closely. So if you remember from the first, last class, if you were to find and select a particular thing in JavaScript from HTML, you use the document object, which refers to essentially the index.html file. Okay, and then you say get element by, and you give the element, so that you have this canvas, this first one right here, in this variable. Now you have it in here. And now let's actually take the image file, which is this one. Let's actually refer to this one, and that's how I did it. Oh, we forgot to give it an ID. Let me go give it an ID. Input file, once you're here, make sure you give it an ID. I called it a file input, so I'm going to keep it that way. Once I have file input, it should work now. So in the second line, what I just did is I took the image file using this this same thing, get element by ID, using this ID. I got it, and I stored it inside this variable called image file. Now we need to actually make sure that the image is taken in as an object, and in order to do that, we are going to use this one. We are going to use the simple image object and provide it with this image file right here as a parameter, and this creates an object of our image. Why simple image? Because that's the name that Duke University people gave it. Okay, and then this right here, this line is what we do to draw. Okay, image, draw it onto, okay, let me fix that, canvas 1. Okay, so far so good. Did you understand anything? Are you able to follow? I want you to write it, type it along. Are you able to understand, people? Press 1 in the chat if you're good. You were able to understand that code makes sense. Because these are not stuff that you remember. These are stuff that you Google. Okay, don't remember this stuff. Google this stuff if you ever need them in the future. Okay, right. So now we have our upload function. Let's connect it with the upload happening. Okay, well, every time the upload happens, we want this function to execute. We want the image to be drawn on this canvas, right? Let's do that. Let's connect it with the input. How do you do it? You might have heard about, you might have seen on click, right? I'm pretty sure if you made the clock app and the counter app, I'm pretty sure that you're used to this one, on click. But that's not what we're going to use. We're going to use this thing called on change. So every time a new file is accepted, or every time a new file is uploaded, this happens. This function happens for sure. And I call it the upload, and there we have it. Let's take it for a spin. Let's test it if it's working. Okay, I have a lot of pictures, but not sure which one I should pick. Which one should I be picking? Let's pick this one. And voila, we have it. It worked. Yes, our first function just did what we wanted it to. Okay, it's amazing, right? I uploaded a picture. You can see backmonosakura.png. It's over here. There we have it. What now? Now we have the image. That's actually okay. Do not worry. It goes away because this is a live server. Every time I make a change here, it resets. So do not worry if you don't. If you don't see any changes. That's one thing that's happening here. All right, let's actually dive into writing some code. Like I said, we are going to write the purple filter, right? Let me bring in the code for the purple filter. Where's the purple filter? Okay, a lot of fixes I need to make over there. Let me take that out. That's some testing that I've been doing. Okay, so if you look here, I just made a temporary variable because I don't want to alter the real image itself. Okay, so that's why I stored my image in a temporary variable called purple image. And just as you would expect, I used 2 loops because I said image was an array. Okay, image was literally an array, and that's why, array of arrays, it's like a 2D array. That's why every time I want to do something like this, okay, my throat's given up. Every time I want to do something like this, I need 2 loops. I'm not going to explain this because this is too much. We don't need all of this. Okay, like I said, abstraction to the rescue, right? There must be some way in the new library, the new shiny library we imported from Duke University. And yes, they do have something. They have this one. Okay, they have this for off loop. For every var, let's call it a pixel of purple image dot values. Note this, note this. Okay, I said values, remember? See this? This is values. This is actually from, because purple image essentially is a simple image object, an instance of this image, simple image, just like that, because we copied the image into another box. That's what it is. So it's also working because this values method comes for the simple image object, and purple image essentially is a simple image object. So what happens here is, this values method will actually bring in all the dots, all the pixels in an image into a single, a linear array, just like the color boxes that you saw initially in the class. Okay, now it's really simple to use. You don't need all that jargon, okay? And note that this only works with images which are created using the simple image library, okay? So that's how it works. And now it's easy for each pixel. How do you make an image purple? It's easy, like, it's not easy. In order to make an image purple, you need to set the green value of that pixel to 0. Okay, how do I know? Because I googled it. Purple images, purple pixels don't have greens in them. Red plus blue, imagine what would come in. It might be a darker, like a purple, like a magenta, purple, pink, stuff like that. Those are the combinations that you would get. If you drop in at least a tiny drop of green in there, it wouldn't really work as it would work. And yeah, this takes some maths. This takes some experimentation. If you want to find out, other colors, sorry. If you want to find it out for other colors, you just need to experiment. Set values, like you can even do pixel set red. Oops. And give it like 255. You could do all kinds of stuff. Anything. You could do everything. And you might be wondering, how does this guy know what to do? Because I read the documentation. If you don't know what to do, but you know that, when I said purple image, I told you that you need to change the green value to 0. How do you do it in programming terms? since you're using the simple image library, you come to this page, the documentation page. Let me pin that in the chat for you. I pinned it in the chat. You can visit that. Oops. Okay. You come here and look through. It's get width, get height, get pixel, set size, values, draw to, and all kinds of stuff. Okay. This doesn't have it. Simple image doesn't have it. Because, you know, we are actually dealing with pixels. I said a pixel because the array is essentially consists of pixels. So each pixel you need to refer to this part of the library, simple pixel. This is where you need to look. Now that you know where to look, you go to the documentation. Something seems familiar. Set green new G. Want details over it? You read this. Changes the value of the pixel's green component to new G, whatever the number that you give in here, in the range of 0 to 255. Okay, so that's how I know, people. That's how I know that I need to use this one to change the color. To make changes to the colors in the pixels. Okay. Did you understand anything? I know it's getting late and I know it's getting tough. Did you understand anything? If yes, press 1 so that I know you did. No, this one you do deserve notes. I'm gonna write some and send it to you. But I strongly suggest you take screenshots for now for the challenge that's about to come. And also you might want to take some notes when I speak about the challenge. Right, press 1 in the chat real quick if you are able to follow through and understand. Okay? Alright, let's actually make this work. Purple image, right? Now it's drawing just like before, image.draw to canvas 1. Now this time I want the purple image drawn to canvas 2, which is this one. And when do I want that to happen? When I press this button. And let's see. This is where we can use the on click. When I click it, I want that to happen, the purple filter function to happen. Purple filter, and there we go. Not sure if it works, but let's give it a shot. What have we got to lose anyway? Let's choose a picture. Back mono, where are you? My favorite. Little car, yeah. Got it. And now, for the magic to happen, purple filter. I pressed it. Nothing's happening. What? Oh, great. What's wrong? I know what's wrong. I didn't refer to the canvas 2. I didn't bring the canvas 2 like I did canvas 1. See? I messed up. I need to fix that. So since we already have the canvas 2, I'm not going to create it again. Canvas 2 is equal to what? Document dot get element by ID, which is canvas 2. Okay, I fixed it. Hopefully, this process is called debugging, by the way. It's a fancy term that we say. And let's try now. Let's try picking the picture again. And hopefully this time it works. And it did. Not the very beautiful filter, but it works. You get the idea, right? It did. We just manipulated the original image and we turned it into something like this. Let me open the same page in a browser. Not the most impressive filters, of course, I agree, but we just did something that actually works. Let me choose the file again. Oops. This is taking forever. This is taking forever. So we could pick this. Let's say a purple filter. Yes, everything turned purple. Look. And this one looks pretty cool. This used to be like all green theme and I took all the greens out and now everything that's left is like blues, purples, pinks, magenta, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool, right? What do you think, people? Did you find this fun? Does it like look fun to you? So essentially what you just did was, you tried all kinds of different ways to access 2D arrays. Like you actually tried to make your own application. How do you save these images? You right click or 2-finger tap on your trackpad and you can save the image. It literally saves. It works. In fact, this is one of the experiments I ran. I ran it on a really huge image if you look at it, 44.9 MB. It's pretty cool, right? And that's for today, people. That's what I wanted to make. So I'm going to close all the tabs. Let's get to this. And challenge. Take a screenshot of this challenge, everyone. Once you're done, I'm going to tell you something. How do you find grays? Grays are, if you want to turn something into gray, let me show you what you should be doing. Where's Notepad? Oh, I accidentally opened like 10,000 notepads. Shut up. What's wrong with you? Okay. Oops, it's not coming in. It's not coming in. Let me show you how you would turn every pixel into green, okay? Let's say we have a pixel P that has red value equals 255 and green value equals let's say 150. I'm not sure what this is, what color it might be, but a blue value equals 200 or maybe 225. I'm just looking random things. Okay, so the gray version, because every color has its own gray version. That's how like our image filters work, like, right? So every version has its own gray version. So in order to find the gray version of this, this is what you need to do. You need to find this r plus the value of r plus g plus b by 3. You need to find the average of all these three values, and then you need to set, note what I'm saying, you need to set red equals to this, and you need to set green equals to the same value v, and you also need to set b equals to v. That's how you need to do stuff. That's how you find the gray version of each pixel's color. Okay, so take a screenshot of even this. Let me make it real big. Yeah, now you can take a really good screenshot. Take a screenshot of this, take a screenshot of the challenge. I'll also post it in Discord. And just like every day, I want you to do this app. You could do this on CodePen or you could do this on VS Code. I strongly suggest you do it on VS Code because that's more challenging and makes you get used to the local environment and posting it to GitHub and everything. And yeah, once you're done, post it to GitHub, make it look the way you want. It's your app, make it, give it all kinds of colors, all kinds of crazy stuff that you want. And it's not limited to just gray. You could create your own filter because you know where to look for, okay? And yeah, I'll also drop the links to, the library and also the documentation pages and everywhere so that you can use it to actually finish the stuff, okay? And that's the end of learning. That's the end of learning for devsForFun. All of you, congratulations. And I'm just kidding. Learning never ends. Not with devsForFun. Definitely not. This is not where we end, people. We have a lot more things coming up, but I won't be teaching classes anymore. But this is like the last class. But yeah, we will be meeting again like two more times. One on Monday and the other like on December 2nd or 3rd or maybe 4th. I'm not sure because I have a lot of things planned on that day. So yeah, that time the sessions are going to be only 45 minutes. The next time that we're going to meet, I'm just going to give you the challenges that you'll be solving in order to get your certificate, in order to prove your learning, in order to build your GitHub, whatever, all that stuff. And the last meet, it's just a fun meet. Just gather around. And the last meet, it's not going to be on YouTube. It's going to be in Discord, okay? I'm going to be there in Discord, in one of the voice channels at the time that I would tell you soon, okay? So that, we all can come together, turn on our cameras, look at each other's faces, and do some talking, have some fun. And if you're interested in continuing with devsForFun, we have a lot of things coming up. I mean, it's basically would give you a YouTube video, will give you update forms to make sure that you're working on stuff, and then you can learn more about this. I mean, you actually finish your web development journey and maybe participate in GSOC and competition like Solution Challenge and all that stuff. That's what we're aiming for. Okay, so lots of stuff coming, and I hope you enjoyed so far. This is like the last time I'm going to be teaching anything. So yeah, it's been like one hell of a journey for me. I'm not sure about you, but yeah, it's been fun. And that's all for today, though. Yeah, if it's not for learning, it's all for today. That's it, people. Thank you so much. You guys have been awesome. And remember, if you're watching this video, you're like the only last people that are left out of 367 people that signed up. If you ask me, that's a really crazy number. Out of 367 that signed up, you're the only ones sticking around. You're the only ones making filters out of JavaScript, creating your own apps, posting stuff on GitHub, all kinds of things that would eventually help you get a great job or maybe start your own app or whatever. All kinds of crazy stuff and in fact, incredible stuff. Not crazy, incredible stuff. That's the word. So you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you had some amazing time. Thank you so much. And I'm going to put on some music. Have a great weekend, everyone. Have a great weekend. That's what I wanted to say. I forgot.
Darling,